Peace, peace, prosperity, peace, power, prosperity. Rob Blackstorm here. Just came out of a meditation. Um, See if I get maybe a couple of people in here before I really go in and start talking. It's a beautiful day out here in New York City. I'm out here in nature. Just got through meditating, vibrating, thinking about new plans for the new season, preparing for the full moon. Well, I see a couple of y'all here. Peace. Shout out to y'all. Just preparing for the full moon, getting my mind together. I like to meditate outside in nature. One reason is because I tend to connect much easier when I start the deep breathing that allows you to get in meditation. Peace, peace, Karama. Um, Once I start to meditate and deep dive, I like to come out in nature to peace, Ernestine. Peace to all y'all coming into the chat. Um, I like to go into nature. I like to meditate in nature. One thing is because we have a direct relation to plant life. Right? We breathe in oxygen that we derive from trees and plant life, and we breathe out carbon dioxide, which we give to trees and plant life. So we have a direct exchange with trees. We have a direct exchange with um, agriculture, so to speak. So in these times, it's very important for us to connect, especially those of us who live in major cities, right? New York, Los Angeles, Detroit, Chicago, things like that. If you live in a big major metropolis, you have to remember that these environments that we are placed in Western society is not our true nature. This is not truly who we are. This is not truly where we come from. We come from sunlight. We come from being in forests. We come from interacting with animal life. We come from being the first agriculturists. We come from taking care of the land and nurturing the land. We come from communication with nature, or the neter, as the Cometians say, right? Which is where the word nature comes from, the neter, Neter, the Egyptian letter. So we always recognize the deity in nature, right? So getting to the topic, so I'm out here in nature, and I'm meditating. And like I said earlier, I'm meditating, preparing for the new moon, which takes place tomorrow, or the full moon, I should say, that takes place tomorrow. The full moon in Aquarius, kind of setting some intentions, right? And as I'm meditating and as I'm setting these intentions through me using affirmations and through me using visualizations while I'm slowing down my breath, which is engaging my, uh, which is disengaging my conscious mind and diving me deeper into my subconscious mind, which is what meditation does. So you're literally going back into the womb of darkness, which is where you came from when you came out your mama's belly, right? You're going back into that womb. You're going back into that dark matter, which is outer space, which is what you see as the foundational space. You're going back into that dark energy, which is what you see is the foundational space. This is why spirituality or meditation, as far as spirituality or spiritual elevation, is important. So when we're talking about occult spirituality, a lot of times we do these rituals and we do these practices in order to get things: money, love, um, homes, cars, jobs, and whatever it may be. Right? So we're doing spirituality for those purposes. But the true meaning of occult knowledge, and this is what I got downloaded and I was prompted to share with y'all, we have to remember this is not a business exchange. This is not an exchange of, okay, I meditate, all right, I have an altar, I have some candles, I have some herbs, right? And I'm going to do this to get a new boo. I'm going to do this to get a new car. Now, that is a byproduct of doing magic. That is a byproduct of learning magic, that you acquire things that you want. Because magic is basically saying my thoughts, the things that I say, the the things that I see, and the things that I seek will manifest in real life. But in order for these things to manifest in real life is we first have to realize why we're in this in the first place. When you would enter the Commission Mystery School, the first thing you had to do, and the mantra is to know thyself. The mantra was not to get a new boo. The mantra was not to get a new car. The mantra was not so that you could pay your bills. The mantra was not so that you could get some quick cash. The mantra is not so you could get a new house. The mantra was, man, know thyself. Or woman, know thyself. So coming into this occult, coming into this spirituality, coming into learning your history and learning your culture or learning who you are. A lot of times people come into this and they think it's just about hexing someone, cursing someone that did you wrong. That's their intro. They want to hex somebody. They want to curse somebody. They want to, violate someone that they think violated them, or they want to acquire something material, right? But very rarely do people use these tools to develop themselves, use these tools to work on the areas in life that they're weak in, whether they're weak in business, whether they're weak in their ability to learn, whether they're weak in their ability to diet, whether they're weak in their ability to avoid distractions, whether they're weak in their ability to stop gossiping, whether they're weak in their ability to speak up for themselves, whether they're weak in their ability to, deal with the fact that when you go on this path, there is a degree of loneliness that is in this path, right? And those are the things you have to be comfortable with separating yourself from the pack, with walking the narrow road, right? And getting with like-minded people and finding your soul tribe. So these are things that occult spirituality is designed to do. And once you are going up, as I always talk about the chakra system, once you are highlighting yourself, once you are developing yourself, these things, the cars, the homes, the boo, the relationships, the soul tribe, the soul tribe, the materialism, the cash, the quick cash, the unexpected cash, all these things come as a result of your personal and spiritual development. Now you could do a spell, a money spell, and pop some money real quick. You could do a love spell and meet somebody real quick. You could do, there's spells for almost anything, right? Or hex somebody, right, and get rid of them real quick. There's spells for everything. But if you are still the same person that you are, you're really not doing much. You're getting quick fixes. It's almost like a crackhead who keeps seeking to get high and get high and get high and get high, but never realizes what the high is in the first place, or how to tap into getting that high without the crack, or tap into being comfortable without the crack. So a lot of people using spirituality like crackheads. They just want quick fixes. They just want quick hits. They come in, they want to do a quick ritual to say an expedite to get some money. They want to do a quick love ritual to get a boo, and that's it. But you get this boo, and you ain't right, or your character isn't right. You get the ideal person, but your character isn't right. How you gonna vibrate with this ideal mate that you have in your head if you aren't right yourself? You get this new home. How are you going to keep it? Keep up with it, to keep the money flowing in, if you're not right yourself? If you haven't tapped into your third eye, so you can get downloads and visions, so you continue to maintain this and to continue to upgrade. These are things we don't think about. These are things we don't think about when we're doing the occult. The occult is about personal development. Personal development first and foremost, knowing thyself first and foremost, and activating that heart chakra, that inner Heru, or that inner hero. So your guiding light on a day-to-day, repetitive basis is developing yourself, is mastering yourself, is mastering your flaws and mastering your weaknesses, so that you could go into this world and let your magic manifest just by your thoughts and your words. The altar is just a tool. The herbs are just a tool. The mandalas are just a tool. The oils are just a tool. The baths are just a tool. The rituals are just a tool. And these tools are all designed to tune your own mind to get to the point where you are simply using intention in order to manifest things. Because even if you're using these tools, your intention has to be in them. Your intention has to be in your magic in order for it to work, right? So if you don't have faith in your magic's not going to work in the first place. If you don't have faith in the things that you're doing and the rituals that you're doing, your magic's not going to work in the first place. So you have to step into the point where you're not just using magic for things. And one of the things that I got in my meditation was I was doing this, right? A couple minutes ago, I was doing this, things that I wanted to manifest and going through it and visualizing it. And then spirit, ancestor, whatever you want to call it, the voice came in like the middle and was like, look, you're not supposed to be doing this just to get things. You're not supposed to be doing this just to manifest things. We need our reverence. We need to know that you appreciate us. We need to know that you're grateful to us. Right? And it was like, wow, it was like a shock to the system almost. Because it was like, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. That I myself need to make sure that I am looking at this not as a thing, not as a grab for money or grab for power or grab for acceptance, but that I am really making sure that I am focused on growing and developing myself, and that I am also making sure that knowing that I am powered by my ancestors, and your ancestors live in what science calls your junk DNA, right? So your junk DNA is where all your ancestors really are on a cellular level. And I am supposed to always and consistently be honoring my ancestors, constantly honoring them on a day-to-day basis, just like I wake up and do my rituals and do my meditations, that I should be giving them honor for nothing, because I want that same honor for myself. We are the new ancestors. We are one day going to pass on and go into the ethers and become enlightened ancestors and transform into stars and shine our light on those that honor us, or those that honor our frequency and our vibration. Because that's what it is. Once you transform and take this shell, this avatar body sheds, it's all frequency and vibration, which is what we're trying to raise when we come into the spiritual occult community. So all the other material things are add-ons to us developing our character, to us developing our higher self. And there's a lot of people that are in this occult world, and they have no desire to develop their higher self. They have no desire for self-mastery. They just have a desire to use magic to acquire things and to create things out of thin air. And while that's all good and dandy, once you have all the things, once you make all the money, which if you're smart and you've seen with millionaires, and there's some billionaires that are not happy. Imagine having, I remember Mace, shout out to Mace from Bad Boy Records, right, the rapper. I remember Mace saying once he got all this money and once he got rich, he had nobody to share it with, because he was around people he couldn't trust. And also he was around people he didn't have a solid, he didn't have solid character. So when he started climbing, he didn't have people to share his riches with. So imagine getting everything you want on a physical, tangible level. The house, the car, the condo, the business, everything running the way you want. But when you lay down at night, you're still not happy with yourself. There's dudes with I know dudes on Wall Street, millionaires, those don't know how to have conversations with women, don't know how to act around women. But they're millionaires. They have a shit ton of money. Totally get around a woman, start sweating profusely, totally uncomfortable. Or they're just liars and manipulators, so they burn their bridges with people around them all the time. Or they don't speak up for themselves. Or their inner hero is weak. They're weak people. They're weak-minded. Or they can't control their diet. They can't control what they're eating. Or they could be easy, So there's all type of different ways that when you don't develop your character and you just get material things, or you're just looking for material things, that they affect you. And you don't think about that. So being in the occult is first and foremost about knowing thyself. And once you know thyself, you have to make sure that you also are honoring yourself. And by honoring yourself, you are honoring your ancestors. But don't, a lot of people, they're burning ancestor money. They're putting things on the altar. And they think this is like a business exchange. Okay, if I put this on the altar, this will happen. Or if I burn this, this will happen. Or if I do this bad, this will happen. And yes, that is the desire. But remember, that's not the main point. That's not why the ancestors are here. That's not why the ancestors are here, to get you a new house and a new car. Or a new boot. The ancestors are here. The reason the ancestors live in your DNA is, one, to show you the past so you can learn lessons from the past, which is the true meaning of history, not just to spout history just so you could be smart and intellectual and regurgitate some meaningless history. Because guess what? When you're hungry and your kids are hungry and your coffers are empty and your wallet is empty, that history doesn't do shit for you. Not a goddamn thing. Knowing what happened in 1897 and 1804 doesn't do shit for you when your kids are starving or when you're starving, right? But what will do that for you is when you know that you are creative enough and you tap in, right? And you get these downloads and you get wisdom to say, oh, let me create this. Or, oh, let me build this. Or, oh, let me see what I could do with this to escape this situation. That's what will get you there. Your mind. Your mind, first and foremost. And any ritual, any magic that you do is just an extension of your mind and an extension of your fate. That's all it is. It's an extension. The altar is an extension of your mind. And your ancestors that you pay homage to on that altar are an extension of you. That's it. They're an extension of you. You control this. You are the sole controller. Islam, myself, Lord and Master. What has the Nation of Islam been teaching for years? Do for self. Do for self. So the occult is not a business game. And not to say you can't acquire business opportunities, and not to say you can't get rich. We know there's many entertainers that are in the occult, that are doing occult rituals, that are rich and famous because of occult rituals. There's many people, conscious people, talk about that shit all the time. Like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But if you're doing these rituals, right, and you're drinking adrenochrome and shit like that, of course that's the bad way. That's playing with the dark side of the force, right? But what's your lightsaber look like? You create your lightsaber, right? If we're talking about Star Wars, you create your lightsaber. And what side of the force you're going to be on. You know what I'm saying? What side of the force are you primarily on? Everything comes out of darkness, but everything comes out of darkness into light. And trust me, as much as you deep dive into darkness, right, from a person who meditates on a regular basis, as much as you deep dive into darkness, you'll appreciate the strength of the light when you start to get inner visions, when you start to get these downloads, when you start to get these understandings. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pay homage to the ancestors, and I'm not asking for nothing. I'm just going to give them their just due, because that's my way of showing gratitude. And if you're not grateful for what you already have, then even what you already have will be lost. I'm going to say that again. If you're not grateful, if you're not practicing gratitude for what you already have, then what you already have will be lost. That's honoring your ancestors. The fact that you don't have corona, the fact that you have 2 arms and 2 legs, the fact that you can see, the fact that you can talk, the fact that you have a cell phone or a laptop, the fact that you have a home, you're doing better than the majority of people around the world. The fact that you live in America, if you're watching this from America, you're doing better than the majority of people in the world. There's people from Africa who will kill you and put your body on like a suit if they could, just so they could come to America. So don't look at it like it's just a grab to get things. That's my main point of saying this. Don't look at the occult as just a grab to get things or a grab to get material items. This is a 3D world. You could die tomorrow. You could die tomorrow. You know, I don't wish that on anybody, but that's a fact. And then what have you left? What type of legacy have you left? What type of legacy have you left? Emotionally, spiritually, what type of impact do you have on the people around you? Your family, your friends? What type of impact do you have on them? Can you say you gave these people things that are going to help them grow and shine and develop? Can you say you've helped your family grow, shine, and develop? If something happened to you tomorrow, are your friends going to look at you as a person who helped them grow? Because we're no different than these trees right here. We're no different. We start off from the root, start off as children, and then we grow and grow and grow, and then we branch off. And we are fed by light. Light is energy. Light is power. Light is information. That's why when you get new knowledge, it's a light, right? If nobody taught you that this was a park, you wouldn't know. When someone tells you, oh, this is called a park, now you have light. Before that, you were ignorant. You were in darkness. You did not know. So the whole goal is to get light. And the whole goal, just like this plant, is to get water. You're 70 to 80% water. So you should be drinking a lot of water, especially if you are in the occult and if you are doing spirituality. It is a key, because you're expending a lot of light energy if you are a light worker, if you're working with light, which is the era that we are in 2020. This is the era of the light worker. This is the era of thoughts becoming things. We're going into the quantum. We're going into the fifth dimension. We're in the quantum right now. And by 2022, AI is going to be taking over. AI is going to take over a lot of y'all jobs. Are you getting the downloads to make sure your kids know about STEM? So they don't have to work for the white man next generation, or the brown man, or any other man, unless they so choose to. This is what the occult is about. This is what magic is about. Getting in tune with your ancestors, getting these downloads and these uploads, getting wisdom. That's why in Masonry, King Solomon is revered. The same Freemasons that run the world, right? Hiram Abiff, King Solomon, because it's about wisdom. It's about wisdom. I remember watching House of Cards on Netflix, and they have this black character named Remy on House of Cards. And if you're in here, please hit the like button. Thank you for that. And they have this character named Remy. And Remy would do for the president. I forgot the actor's name who plays the president in House of Cards. But what they would do, he got recently knocked off for being a pedophile or whatever. But anyway, so he's the president, and the president would call Remy to do these little odd jobs. Remy's kind of like a mercenary, you know what I'm saying? So Remy would do little odd jobs for the president. And eventually Remy fell in love with this girl, right? And once he fell in love with this girl, he didn't want to do these odd jobs for this president anymore. He just wanted to be in love. But the president was at odds with the girl he was in love with, right? So what he would tell Remy, he'd always tell Remy, look, I'll pay you more money. I'll pay you more money. I'll pay you more money. And Remy was happy because he was getting paid. He was getting money. He was able to acquire material things. But once Remy fell in love, he realized that the money wasn't as important as doing and enjoying what he really loved. And it changed their whole dynamic. Until eventually the president had to get rid of him, or try to get rid of him. That's another story. But I say all that to say this, and this is from someone me, Rob Blackstorm, grew up in a mansion in Atlanta, facts, whose father had a shitload of stores, right? I grew up walking in the grocery store, getting what I want, and walking out, not paying anything. Getting my clothes washed for free, not paying anything. My father had several stores. So I've seen both sides, and I've also been back and lived in even more projects here in the Bronx. So I've seen both sides of it. I've had money and I've had no money myself personally. And I will tell you this: get money, get paid, get rich. Anyone who knows me personally knows I'm all about getting paid. I'm all about getting money. I'm all about doing fly shit. I'm all about traveling. I'm all about earning. And I'm all about, and I like to spend money on my women, right? I like to treat my women right. So I'm all about that. But that does not come before my spirituality or my spiritual development, or me consistently working on my character. And this is a day-to-day ritual, because every day you wake up, just like they used to tell you in church that the devil doesn't take a day off, you shouldn't take a day off on your spirituality, because every day you wake up and you log on social media, guess what? That algorithm is trying to take you somewhere. Every day you wake up, you turn on that TV is trying to take you somewhere. Those Netflix series are trying to take you somewhere. Amazon series are trying to take you somewhere. Hulu series are trying to take you somewhere. But where are you trying to take yourself? And even once you get, the deeper you get into this occult, you start to shed your desire for these type of things. You start to shed your desire for baseless entertainment. When I look and look at things to watch, I'm looking at things really to decipher and decode. I'm looking at things that even if I watch a casual movie, I could learn from, that I could get information from, that's going to take me to the next level, mentally, spiritually, or financially, or physically. Mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically. But at the top is spiritual. Everything else falls after that. Because if I know if I get $1 million right now, and I still got the nigga mindset, that $1 million might be going in a year. I was on Facebook in a Magick group, and this girl was like, "Oh, I did a ritual and I manifested a car, but then I crashed it. So I did another ritual, but this time, I didn't get another car." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, you should have managed the first car you had, not crashed it. You know what I'm saying? You should have managed that so you didn't crash it. But things happen. But don't think you're just going to manifest another car off the rip just because the first ritual worked. After you manifested that car, what happened? Did you give reverence to your ancestors? Did you show gratitude for this car? Or were you just like, oh, I manifested it and that's it? Did you give back to someone else? Because when you get a blessing, you should be a blessing. That's currency. That's currency exchange. That's currency exchange. Real currency exchange, which is energy. That's why your dollar bill, if you look at it, it is a snake in between two pillars. It's a snake in between two pillars. And that snake is wisdom. That snake, that kundalini represents wisdom. When you're talking about kundalini rising, or when you're talking about the activation of magic or the activation of energy, you're talking about kundalini or serpentine energy. So let's start getting in tune with who we really are. Let's start showing reverence to our ancestors, just for nothing sometimes, for nothing, just because. Let's start showing gratitude for ourselves and our family members, just because. Don't always do magic for things. Do magic so that you can develop yourself. Go into this occult so you can develop yourself. Do rituals so you can develop your character, so you can develop your inner king, your inner queen. Black is king, yes, but black is king once black is activated. If you watch Beyonce's Black and King, she's talking about dealing with the ancestors. The whole video is about her being Hathor or Het Heru, which corresponds with Oshun. So she's still in an Oshun bag. But you have to really recognize those those correlations. Beyonce's the queen bee. The bees deal with Oshun, but she's also representing Hathor or Het Heru, which deals with the cow, which is why the cow print is in the video. But Hathor, Het Heru, that particular deity, which is the sister of Isis or the sister of Orset, has to do with your third eye. It has to do with your imagination. It has to do with your divination. It has to do with your wisdom. And this is developed through activating the subconscious mind. And I'll tell you from experience, once you activate this, once you're dedicated to this on a day-to-day basis, things start coming to you out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I received a check out of nowhere recently. Out of fucking nowhere. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And the funny thing is, when I went to Vegas, I lost money, but I got money back. I got the money back through the check. You know what I'm saying? And even through that, the ancestors are telling me show reverence. Because I really didn't, to be honest with you. I was doing my ritual, I'm doing my meditations and things like that. But I didn't really show reverence. I didn't show reverence for that. But I always give back when I get. I always give back to somebody once I get, because I understand the law of exchange, the law of reciprocity, which is in the Kabbalion. But I didn't really show reverence to them. So I got to show reverence to them. So today I'm not asking for shit. Today I'm going to show reverence to my ancestors. Thank them for helping me to know thyself and for giving me the wisdom. So let's really get into this, what this occult thing is about. Let's stop focusing on these entertainers. Let's stop focusing on these celebrities. Even the pedophile thing, the QAnon and all that. Again, what are you going to do? Okay, you know about QAnon. You know who's the pedophiles. You know Tom Hanks is a pedophile. You know this person's a pedophile. This celebrity's a pedophile. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, you're spreading awareness and all that. That's fine. You can be aware all you want. But is it doing anything? There's Black Lives Matter all over these streets. Has anything changed for Black lives? Really? Really intangibly, has anything changed for Black lives? So awareness is great. It's great for your ego. It's great to make you feel good to have some awareness. Yeah, oh, I know this, right? I understand this. But awareness is nothing. I could make you aware about sex. Let's say you never had sex. I could give you as much awareness as possible about sex. I could tell you I could write beautiful poetry about how great sex feels. I could show you porn about how it looks. I could write books about sex, right? But until you have sex, actually, you don't know what sex is. Until you actually do it, you don't know what sex is. So we gotta focus on the things that we can change, the things that we can create, because some of these things, even though they are problematic, and I hate pedophilia like anybody else, I got girl children, so you know I hate that shit with a passion. And as a man who was approached by gay men for pedophilia when I was younger, I understand it 100%, and I despise that shit. But what am I going to do about it? What I'm going to do is tell my motherfucking kids how to avoid that shit and what to look for so they don't get snatched up. That's what I'm going to do. But am I focused on all the celebrities that's doing their shit? No. The fuck that got to do with me? But that's the big thing on the internet, pedophilia. What the celebrity pedophiles, that's the biggest shit on the internet right now. And Trump and Biden. But when you're wise, when you're really tapped into the occult, when you're really on this middle path that I'm on, I'll take truth from Trump. If it comes from Trump's side and it's truth, I'm taking it. Because I don't care about the racism. I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about what I could solve. And if he's giving me truth that's going to help me save my life and be better in life, I'm taking it. And same thing with the Biden side. If the Biden side is giving me truth that's going to help my life and help me elevate it, I'm taking it. I don't care if it's coming from a white person, I'm taking it. If it comes from a black person, I'm taking it. If it comes from an Asian person, I'm taking it. If it comes from a Spanish person, I'm taking it. If it comes from a bum in the street, I'm taking it. One of the greatest things I ever heard was from a bum in the street. And it's one of me and my homies' mottos. And it's, I will exist no matter what. And when I'm going through my things, through hard times, I refer back to that man's wisdom. This man asked me for $1 in the street. I said no. He said, all right. He said, I will exist no matter what. And the passionate way he said it, it made me go back and give him $1, give him a couple dollars. That's what I want, wisdom. That's what I want, wisdom. I want enlightenment, as much enlightenment as possible. Because the more enlightenment I have, the more this 3D matrix works for me. The more the magic works for me. The more I acquire the things that I want, the more that I acquire the things that I need, the more that I acquire the things that I desire as I work on my chakra system on a day-to-day basis. Because a lot of times y'all think, oh, I'm unblocking the chakras and oh, I unblocked my chakra today and that's it. The devil doesn't take a day off. They told you that in church. So you shouldn't take a day off with getting enlightenment. And I know we have to work, we have children, we have things like that. But when you have those times to relax, when you have those times where you don't have the children and you're off work, what are you doing? What are you doing to improve your character? What are you doing to improve who you are? What are you doing to have your effect on the world? Even if it's just for protection. And you've been, you know, I haven't had, my life ain't no crystal stair. And I know a lot of y'all's aren't. And we going through things, and you may be going through things now. But what is your plan? What is your personal plan? Is your plan to focus on QAnon? Is your plan to focus on the pedophiles? Is your plan to focus on Trump? Is your plan escapism from your own reality? Even with this spiritual thing, are you a spiritual junkie? Where you're just watching YouTubes and watching lives and watching, but never practicing? This path is for you, no one else. This is your path. And a lot of y'all need to go back to church. No disrespect. A lot of y'all need to go back to church because you just want to follow people. This is not a path to following. The people that are on here teaching, and Panic always talks about this all the time. This is not a path where you're supposed to follow anyone. This is a path where you learn, you gain the information, and then you take it back in your own lab, in your own study, in your own home, in your own parks, and develop these things for yourself so that you could become a brother Panic. You could become a sister Myra. You could become these, or even, and shit, just like Jesus said, do greater than them. Regardless of whether you believe in the Bible or not. There's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. I ain't throwing away my Bible because I became woke or coming in the occult. In fact, the Psalms are some of the most, the Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, those are my shit. Sometimes I just open the Bible and go through Proverbs, and it'll give me some information for the day, give me some wisdom for the day. Just randomly open the Bible, Proverbs, turn to it, and just start reading. And it'll apply to something in my life from that day. But that's being in tune. That's looking at coincidences and not dismissing them and seeing them as confirmations. Also another part of the occult, learning to recognize coincidences, learning to recognize what coincidence is for. So, with that said, I want to say peace to y'all. Please, the new moon is coming up shortly. Yes, have your intentions. Yes, have your desires. Yes, put the things that you want. I'm not against any of that because I will be doing that as well. Put the material things that you want. Put the material items that you want. But add something that you want to. Add some materials in you. Polish the diamond that is in you. Polish the gem that is you. Make yourself the material. Make your chakras the material that you want to gain. What chakra do you want to unblock? This full moon is going to be in Aquarius. It's the water bearer. How do you want to flow for the next month, for the next couple of years? What type of flow do you personally want in your own life to change, to transform, to transmute in here, in your soul, in your heart chakra, in your Heru, on your hero's journey, which is what Heru is symbolic for? How are you going to ascend? Because once you ascend, everything else will come to you. Just like, again, I'm going to use the Bible, just like it says in the Bible. What is it? It says, I'm paraphrasing. It says, follow God, and all other things will be added to you. And the verse says, talks about God saying, do I not take care of the animals? Do I not take care of the birds? Do I not take care of the bees? Do I not take care of the trees? So will I not take care of you? See, we're going about it Western capitalist. We're going about this like a Western capitalist and not like a cultist most of the time. We're thinking that our altars and we're thinking that our rituals are like money to spend to get something. But really, the main ritual is you knowing thyself and developing thyself. And expanding your heart chakra, expanding your inner Heru, your inner Horus, expanding that field, that electromagnetic field that you have, that electric magnetic field that you have, so that you are more magnetic. But it takes electricity. It takes work. In order for an electromagnetic field to expand, it takes electricity. It takes light. It takes power coming out of the darkness. So you have to put in this work for yourself. No one's going to save you. No one is going to save you but you. Not Trump, not Biden, not no new presidents, not no black leader, the NFAC, right? Niggas walking around with guns when the army got tanks and stealth weapons and weapons of mass destruction. NFAC ain't gonna save you, bro. Sis, I'm sorry. Okay? So, we need to really get on our deen, as they say in the Muslim community. We need to get on our deen, as they say in Freemasonry. We need to get on our squares. We need to build a foundation for spiritual resurrection. And again, if you're in here, please there's 19 people, please, there should be 19 likes. Please hit the like button. I'm not even asking for donations this one. I just want my people. I just want my soul tribe. I just want the people that are following me to know that it's not just about getting money. But I also want to know, and it's not just about getting things, but I also want you to know that you can't be no poor righteous teacher either. This ain't the era of the poor righteous teacher. There's PPP loans out here that people are getting through the government. There's Forexes that are going on. There's blockchain and Bitcoin that is going on. There's Red Pill's been talking about this lately. The what did he call it? The passion economy, right? Where people are turning their passions into profit with no middleman. There's things out here to get money. There's things out here where you can get a shit ton of money if you're tapped in. If you're tapped in spiritually, these opportunities will come to you. But if you're just doing rituals for money, yeah, you might hit a lick and get some money. But I guarantee you, if your character's not right, and if you're not right, you don't know what to do with it. You might waste it and spend it and expend it and have nothing to show for it. These are facts. We've seen that in ourselves, and we've seen that with people. Niggas tricking off the money, right? So we got to be careful with what we ask for. We got to be careful with just the things we desire. So again, I'm not saying don't get money. I'm not saying don't get. I love getting money. I adore getting money. I adore being wealthy. My whole goal is wealth in life. Wealth, success, peace, power, and prosperity. Those are my goals. But the first order of operation is peace and peace of mind. And I can only get that through spirituality. I can only get that through working with my ancestors. I can only get that through working with my gods and goddesses. Then I get the power, which is my electromagnetic field expanding to magnetize the things that I want, to bring things into my environment that I need and desire, and that will help take me to the next level. And then I get the prosperity through that. You understand? That's my formula. Come up with your own formula. And with that said, I'm going to close. Peace, power, prosperity. Oh, last thing. Shout out to my students that's taking my elemental magic class. I am doing an elemental magic class. It is $101, but it is for 5 weeks. So it's less than $20 a class. I go into the air element, fire element, water element, earth element, and the last element, which I won't tell y'all, that's for my class people, but there is a 5th element. I actually talked about this before, but I do the class. The class is wonderful. When I do a recorded video, which I'm going to do soon, I'm going to show you guys the testimonials of the people that have taken it. And what it is basically based on your natal chart. So whatever your sun and moon sign is, I show you how to use different magical techniques for you to master magic that's honed specifically for you, so that you could develop yourself and you could acquire all these great material things that you want. So that's the wave I'm riding. And that you could even acquire people that'll help you get to the weight, get to the material, get to the bag. You might need a husband that's going to help you get to the bag. You might need a wife that's going to help you get to the bag. You might need to have friends that's going to help you to get to the bag. You might need to meet people in this ecosystem to help you get to the bag. You might meet somebody here in the chat that's going to help you get to the bag. Or are you going to tap in? Are you willing to take 15 minutes out of your day to deep breathe and meditate, or learn to meditate? I teach meditation classes as well. Hit me up. I'll show you how to do it one-on-one. Less than an hour. So you could go in and start getting these downloads and start getting these messages. Peace of mind is the key. If you don't have peace of mind, you have nothing. If you don't have peace of mind and health, you have nothing in life. I promise you. You have nothing in life. All right, this is going on to an hour. Again, lastly, I said that before, but I'm saying it again. Peace, power, prosperity. One love, y'all.